I'm sure in business plan you heard this word called executive summary. I'm sure about it. A lot many companies, they write a long book about their executive summary. Trust me, in new generation VC world, we don't read that. We don't care about all these long text. Instead of that, tell a story. Who you are, why you started the business, and what is the impact you want to create. What would happen? The third point, the impact one. If you can prove it well, there are family-run business and family-run fund, many the royal families, who love to fund such kind of ideas, such kind of businesses, which can make an impact in their own country. Example, I'm an advisor to Al Qasimi family, if you have heard about that. They love to invest if that is related and relevant to UAE and can make an impact in their country. In India, we call such kind of initiatives as impact fund. But in global VC world, we call it as investing on a story. A real life example. One of my mentee, he is from Moldova. Shall I go on with the real life example?
Yes, sir.
Super. His name is Pedro. I call him as a brother nowadays. Pedro have a oil and gas station in Moldova. You have heard about Moldova? Small country in between Russia, Romania and Ukraine. Very small. Yeah. They wanted to raise capital and Pedro connected me, told me that he used to call me sir that time. Sir, I want to raise capital and this is my turnover. I want to raise approximate couple of $1 billion. It happens. Every entrepreneur, they feel that they will be a billionaire and they will raise $1 billion. They don't know that back-end calculations, valuation, all these methods, they don't understand. They are not supposed to understand. They are not qualified to understand that. Yeah? So I had a discussion with that gentleman. I found that he has got approximate $5.5 million as a turnover in total. It is impossible to raise that kind of amount. Just impossible. Yeah? We started talking. And I understood that within that business model, there is nothing which is interesting. It's just a gas station with a library and a cafe, which is a very common thing in Europe. Very common thing. If you drive in Europe, you will find that everywhere. Right? So we converted their entire model into a blockchain-based ecosystem for oil and gas station. Don't fear if I'm taking these names like blockchain. There is nothing. Earlier, you used to use SQL Server as a database. Now, in Web 3.0, with data encryption, you are doing it very sophisticated. Yeah? It's not a tech class, so I'm not going to take any tech classes. Yeah? Think of it like this, which is secure and less number of scam can happen. Okay? Now, once he translated that entire business into a software solution, you are able to raise capital on the top of that particular business model, not on his single oil and gas station. The story was pretty simple. The story was, I'm going to create an ecosystem for all the oil and gas stations within Middle East so that you can track it better and you can understand your customer better. He added another thing on the top of it. It's called an AI camera. So within his pitch for future fundraising, he put an option to go for AI-enabled camera to understand the customers. Now imagine a situation. You are driving a car. Sir is driving a car. He entered into a gas station and the camera understands him as him. He understands whether he will be taking 5 gallons of petrol or he is going to take 5 liters. It understands he loves donuts or black coffee or a cappuccino or Americano. He spends how much amount of time in that cafe. So it's called customer avatar creation. Using that AI and blockchain, this system can detect, understand and create this. That becomes an executive summary in certain number of lines within a paragraph. What exactly is this business all about and what they want to do. Yeah? Am I making sense? Making sense?
No. So here we talk about AI camera, right? So
Yeah.
it has got parameters, maybe 120 parameters or whatever parameters of detection.
Yeah.
So
That is not there in your executive summary. You are just talking about we'll be using an AI camera to detect and understand and then create a customer.
but if it's a first time customer, then how does the AI detect? It is connected to some sort of a
Of course, that's the reason the blockchain is there. It will actually detect your social security number.
social security.
Yeah. So it will understand your face. It will calculate that in the back end. Understand who you are, whether you are
Where does it report for? Is
initially in the system and then to the government.
to the government.
Of course. That's the reason they are able to raise capital from the ministry itself. Because government, from government perspective, it becomes a solution.
Achha, okay. So it's
For them,
only
it is-
surveillance machinery for that.
Yeah. Now think of a situation when a normal entrepreneur wanted to raise capital. Without his knowledge, he is actually creating a system. His intention was not this.
Okay.
What was his intention? To raise capital for his small gas station, and he wanted to create more gas stations. But the entire vision became completely larger when he is integrating this technology. Yeah?
So piloting in his pump, it was used for piloting and testing
Yeah.
that in the.
And then eventually, the investors and the ministries, they are getting all these kind of advantages. Yeah? One example. Second, very basic one. Yeah? Somebody in, I forgot the exact village name, but it's in Madurai. A lady, I till they call her as a Amma. She had around 5,000 families, normal, usual household families, who are creating a lot of pickles, a lot of food items, and she wanted to make it as a viable business model. It is already self-sustaining. Wanted to grow that, wanted to export. Now, when we talk about export, when we talk about creating something tangible for outer world, not within India. India, हम लोग कुछ भी खा लेते हैं.
Yeah, correct.
Right? But if you move from India, if you want to go to Western countries or maybe in Middle East, then your parameters are different. So you need to go through a different kind of segment, structure, diagram, training. So that lady looked at the mindset. She said that I'm not going to do it with 5,000 of these women. I'm going to test run it with only 10 women, with only one product, make it sustainable. And then I'm going to take it forward. He started producing water in copper bottle. How many of you heard about copper bottled water? One, two. Advantage, benefit.
It's more natural purifier and it creates a change in the water chemistry.
Right.
Molecules.
So what she's selling now, she is not selling water. She is actually selling health benefits with a wrap of copper bottle and water. So her executive summary is different. In her executive summary, she can't write that this is a copper bottle project. It's a health benefit project. Copper bottle water is one product. Now, if I want to diversify, I can go on with probably something else. So when we are talking about executive summary, when I'm talking about storytelling, it is important to understand whether the entrepreneur have that appetite to diversify, move for next layer of products, yes or no. So as a professional, if you understand that, create a fine small gap in that executive summary so that they can enhance it. Maximum times I have seen in my life that when we go for investment, a proper visionary investment body, I'm not talking about individual investors, they usually want to understand what is the future vision of the business. Whether these investors will continue the journey with this business or they will take an exit or not. Our last slide is always about exit strategy. Yes, no? Agree? Yeah. From that perspective, we need to create this executive summary. So when we are talking about storytelling, mind it, I usually prefer 2 to 3 points max talking about your future vision. I'll tell you why. So think of a situation when my employees are getting 300 to 400 emails in a day. 400 emails, they are all talking about raising capital. Now, how they will filter out? We don't use AI for that because we don't want to put any kind of parameter for it. Somebody might lose a good opportunity. We might lose a good opportunity to invest in some business. It might happen. Yeah. So what we do, we prefer those things which is more touching the heart. Because when you run a fund, you have to give return to your investors as well. Money is not in my pocket. It is with all the investors that we have in the ecosystem. You have to take care of that. Yeah. Important. Any questions till date? Shall I move? I'm sure that from Google Baba you can get this term business description as well. Yeah? You get that? And I'm sure that we write a lot about this business description. Factory, where it is situated, how many employees are working, how long these businesses are happening, the mission, the vision. Yeah? With due respect, you may write it, but please talk only in points, key points only. I used to hate history classes. Till date, if you look at the global VC standard, even in India, a lot of my friends are now VC. I can go on with names, but I'll skip that. We love things on key points. When somebody is trying to raise capital, not from bank, I'm not talking from bank's perspective. Banking documents are different. You are mastered in this. I am no one to teach you. Yeah? But when I'm talking about PE, when I'm talking about VC, when I'm talking about Royal Family Funds, they love to understand things on key point basis. Scrap all those mission, vision, blah, blah, blah statement. Write one liner over here. Why you are, not who you are. We did that in executive summary. Why you are. Why shall we invest in you? Making sense? Yeah? I'm sure you have done it multiple times in your life. Market analysis. First thing that we put it like this, put it in a dustbin, is data coming from Google. Yeah? If I am in front of a bunch of MBA guys, I usually ask them not to do that. They feel that they are very smart. They take those data from Google, tweak a little bit with keywords, and then present in front of us. You know what happens? We usually understand. So what we prefer over here? We prefer your local market understanding, your competitor, direct competitor. नहीं कि चलो 50 माइल दूर वहाँ पे कोई बैठा हुआ है. No. Who is your direct competitor and where you want to be? And in that market, do you understand that market or not? Real life example. If I am pitching in front of one of the sheikhs, I immediately, my attire will not be like this. Trust me. My entire color balance will change. My dress, way of speaking, and the way I am looking at you will change. If you travel with me, you will understand how it changes. Every country do have its own culture, own understanding, own way of meeting people, own way of understanding people. If you are in South Korea, if you are drinking with somebody, if that's an elder, and you are doing a cheers, you're gone. You know why? They give respect when they drink. So for them, if you are drinking in front of them soju, it will be like this. You can't look at them and cheers them. So there are cultural differences. Do you understand that? If it is reflecting in this slide, amazing. Making sense? It's very hard. It's really hard. So for that, you need to mix with people. Not necessarily you have to travel. You have to mix with a lot of people. In today's world, in today's digital world, you can always talk to a very common person in some country. Make a friendship online, have a discussion about their food culture, about their own culture, how they respect or react with elders, how they are running their business, what is their political, geopolitical situation, have an introduction. It can give you a little bit of understanding. What is the best way? Please don't go by Facebook. Use LinkedIn for this.
So you say, sir, the SEOs and all those things are not required for.
Sir, for people who have got a lot of money, it is required. I can pump in money for SEO as well. But if I can hack that, why shall I invest? Will you do that?
So this number
करके देखिए ना, मैं बता रहा हूँ, बट करके देखिए। सारे सोशल मीडिया में जरूरत नहीं है। You target LinkedIn, you have your own website, do a proper blog. Don't use a free software. अगर वो use कर रहे हैं, then you are using some third party API which is killing your SEO. Do it in a brick and mortar concept, like use HTML5, CSS3. No need of use any kind of WordPress or any other third party software. No. Simple HTML website. Good design. Available. उसके लिए थोड़ा खर्चा होगा, अगर आप डिजाइनर नहीं है तो, वेब डेवलपर नहीं है तो, मेरे लिए नहीं था, जीरो था, I can do that. For you probably you have to pump in 5,000 to 10,000 rupees max. बाकी आप खुद मास्टर है, खुद लिखिए.
You will help us?
Sorry?
Will you help us?
Yeah, of course. Not a big deal. It's not my line of business, but I can. It's not a big deal. We have developers in the company itself, so we are making multiple websites. I own around 250 plus websites. 250 plus, exact number. Yeah. And और एक खुरापाती technique. I love to make things on my own. Okay. I buy domains with keyword.
To keep the reservation.
Keep the reservation.
get more money.
And I did that long back. It's not that easy to retain all these 250 websites. So if you look at our asset, probably we don't own a large building, but we own all these multiple domains, which is like amazing nowadays. If you want to go for game design India, owned by us. If you want to go for startup something, I don't want to market myself in that way, owned by us. So it is actually redirecting that whole thing to our website.
Own, do you mean you have taken the...
I book that domain, I purchase it for next 10 years and then renewing it for next 10 years. Continuous process.
And you keep sell those things?
I don't sell, these are assets.
Then when
We
you
buy those
until
domains.
unless you use it is not an...
We are using it. When you search in the back end, it is being used. I told you it's 10% data that you watch in Google. There is a 90% that we are tweaking, retweaking. उतना तो मत पूछिए कि कितना क्या सीक्रेट है.
No. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, now इसमें स्टिक रहे, ठीक है? अभी हम लोग बात कर रहे थे कुछ keywords, right? And then we have been talking about something which is probably the next slide. It's called organization and management. I'm sure you have seen this slide in all the business plans. Yeah. With one picture here, name, designation, LinkedIn, लंबा सा एक स्टोरी, फिर उसके बाद एक पिक्चर, उसके बाद एक पिक्चर डिटेल्स. Yeah, it's great. With that, try to understand what investors look for. They are looking for team, not individuals. Yeah. Now I'll probably echo, sir. I was listening to him. When you create a team, I prefer these things with these animal instincts. Okay. Rhino. क्या करता है Rhino? खासियत क्या है? Yes. Is strong and bingo. It has got an armor and सर अगर नॉर्मल गोली चलाते हैं तो राइनो आप मार सकते हो? क्यों? ठीक है? So you need a person in your company who can take bullets of customer, investors, bankers, anyone. मोटा चर्बी वाला बंदा चाहिए आपको कंपनी में. ये टीम में दिखना चाहिए वो, along with the background. Yeah. Next, क्या करता है?
दिखने में अच्छा है, उड़ जाएगा।
दिखने में अच्छा है यार, उड़ता है और
स्वान वो
यार मेक इट फनी, आई एम नॉट अ सीरियस गाय।
Very focused.
नहीं वो स्वान मतलब हंस ना, वो दूध और
यस,
दूध और पानी वाला।
सर आए पॉइंट में, दूध और पानी अलग कर सकता है, रियलिटी में हाँ या ना हमको पता नहीं, बट मिथ ऐसा है। So you need a person who can extract the wisdom from knowledge and information. Yeah. So in your team you need that kind of person. It should show. Making sense? Tiger. कौन है? I should copyright this, but I say that entrepreneurship is riding a tiger. You can find it probably in my TEDx speech as well. When it's a cub, you feed it with milk with the intention that someday this baby will become strong and big and you can ride on the top of it. And when you are riding, now you need to feed it with meat. And if you stop, if it is hungry, it will kill you. Now, if you ride it without feeding it, it will again stop and it will try to kill you. So as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, you have to keep feeding it. Now this raw meat now is money, right? You can't underfeed it, you can't overfeed it. ज़्यादा खिलाओगे तो मोटा हो जाएगा, नहीं मूव करता है वैसे। कम खिलाओगे तो आपको मार डालेगा। So this is a risk which every time you are actually having when you go to bed, you probably try to relax. You can't share this moment to anybody, not even with your husband or wife.
तो टाइगर की जरूरत क्या है सर?
Hold it. But the point is, tiger is that kind of animal who don't actually create a family alone. Tiger creates an ecosystem, a jungle with everybody. It will kill someone if it is hungry. That's your business, that's you as an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, sometimes you need to defend yourself. You need to be fearful for the sake of running business. I'm sorry about this. In front of your employees, sometimes you have to be like खूंखार शेर जैसे, नहीं तो काम नहीं करें। But at the same time, when you're calm, when you're done, you have that aura that you are a tiger, but you are talking to everybody. So this is a role of proper leader who can create multiple leaders and create a team. Difference between employee and team, who can tell me? Difference between employee and team, who can tell me? आप लोगों के लिए दोनों सेम है?
No, employee means they have one kind of thing you will do. You do this taxation and all. Team means you will have taxation specialist.
थोड़ा ट्वीट करेंगे सर, थोड़ा ट्वीट करेंगे।
Employee is only specific to one task. Whatever work is given, that he or she will complete it.
Okay, let me retweet the word. Team member and employee.
Team
Difference.
mem-
सिंगुलर प्लूरल जैसा है सर।
Team member is working with the same vision and same objective.
Bingo ma'am. An employee is a person who is there sitting in the company working for money. A team member is a person who is actually working for vision of the company, not only for money. You can build a team member from your employees group. It is very hard to get that kind of team member, and this tiger can create it very easily if that's a tiger mentality. I'll again go back to my story. Yeah. One day in my office, it was probably 2007 or 8, a guy came and he wanted to sell some junk jewelry in front of my office. And I saw that in the CCTV camera, security stopped. And he was not going off. Like, I can't hear the voice. But I can understand that this guy is not moving. He's not going, irrespective of the fact that security guard is like asking him to go. Now the office structure, that time, my office had a glass door. And he was watching like this. Okay? Every time, he is not going off. So I came out, I asked him what is going on, why you are here, we don't want to buy your jewelry. The guy said that, sir, I'm not here to sell my jewelry. I'm a software guy, I didn't get any kind of job, and that's the reason I'm like this. I'm coming from a very poor family. I heard about your company, I don't have any other option because I can't speak in English. So whenever I try to communicate with your HR, nobody is giving me any kind of response. I ask that to come with me. Went for a machine test. Amazing coder. Amazing coder. I went to his home, understood this fellow, background, family details, hired him in the next day. Till date, he is there with us. He learned English, uplifted himself, become a master degree holder. Till date, continues the journey with us as a team member. The responsibility of a CEO is to find out these kind of people who can become your team member and put that in the slide along with his journey in a little way. When I'm talking about organization and team member, try to take these stories from the organization. I'm sure in every organization we have these kind of stories. But we lack, when you talk about funding and fundraising, we don't put these things in the slide. So we don't understand your organization culture. Am I making sense? So when somebody is reading with a very, I would say, smart way of looking at things, they will understand the mix and match of the entire team. Yeah? Sir, madam, question है तो पूछ लीजिए. मैं theory class नहीं ले रहा हूँ. मैं थोड़ा अलग कर रहा हूँ. If it is okay for all of you. Yeah? And I'm talking something which is actually working, and people who are raising capital, who are actually sustaining these companies, they are maintaining this process. अगला वाला क्या करता है? आउट
Vision.
रात को जाता है और
Vision.
Out का आँख खुला हो बंद हो, it will look like it is always awake.
Focused eyes.
थोड़ा और जाइए. अंधेरा किसी ने बोला था फिर? Yes sir. 360 degrees और सारे हैं दिमाग के अंदर. आपके थोड़ा नहीं आ रहा है, शब्दों में नहीं आ रहा. Hunts at night और थोड़ा
अंधेरे में भी देख सकते हैं.
पैसा कमाना वैसे अंधेरे में देखने जैसा है, फैला हुआ. You have to find out these kind of guy who can actually watch it properly, understand where the money is, and then grab it, use it properly, and see the entire vision where this business dynamics is happening. That's the reason 360 degree movement is required. Yeah. Then we have snake. अरे यार सांप से हम लोग सब डरते हैं. ये तो आप गलत बोल रहे हैं. Snake जैसा आदमी चाहिए टीम में. This is wrong. Characteristics क्या है?
Can sense its surroundings.
Number one. Number two, you can't predict them. Number three, हमेशा आँख खुला है. क्या? सोता भी है तो भी लगता है कि आँख खुला हुआ है. Yes? अच्छा, अभी आप सोचो, आपका एक बड़ा फैक्ट्री है, जो उसका सुपरवाइजर है वो हमेशा ऐसे बैठा हुआ है. काम चोरी कर करोगे? हिम्मत होगा. जोक्स अपार्ट, केंचुली छोड़ता है. बी डायनेमिक, अमेजिंगली डायनेमिक. स्नेक का विष कहाँ होता है? वो खुद को मारता है, दूसरों को मारने के लिए इस्तेमाल करता है. Talking very nonsense about this, but you need these kind of political person in your team. Yes or no? Being a practical professional, you agree on this? Yeah. So have these kind of person. Don't call him as a snake, man. That's fine. But have this kind of person in your team who can understand these kind of corporate politics. And of course, your competitors are always there to probably bring you down. So you need these kind of person who is dynamic enough and understand things better than you. I'm talking about team. I'm not talking about a one-man army. A single person cannot run a global business. If I am standing in front of you, probably I have some little bit of amount because of my hours, but my business is running because of my team. I'm blessed enough to create that. Without them, I am zero. Yeah? Elephant. मोटा सा है या बड़ा सा है, क्या करेगा? टीम में ऐसा चाहिए, अमेजिंग मेमोरी, great teamwork, helps people without thinking of themselves. खुद मर जाऊंगा लेकिन दूसरे को पहले सेव करूंगा. I was talking about all these characters, but this fellow, calm and quiet, sitting in this office desk, understands everything, safeguard you. Many a times this is your law firm, many a times it is your internal legal person who saves you from anyone. Maximum cases we lack to put that kind of fellow in the deck. You have to have a corporate lawyer or an advisor, not necessarily within your payroll, within this pitch deck or your business deck. It adds a lot of value, a lot. Who is there in your advisory board helping your company? Yeah?
तो एक छोड़ के बाकी सब तो अच्छे लोग हैं नहीं.
सर बिजनेस कहाँ से अच्छा होता
नहीं
है?
मतलब सी यू हैव टू बी लाइक अ टाइगर. एंटरप्रेन्योर मतलब यू हैव टू बी लाइक अ टाइगर.
या
आपके इर्द गिर्द सब किसको आप पाल रहे हो, सांप को पाल रहे हो, आप राइनो को पाल रहे हो, उस टाइप के लोग. तो वेयर इज दैट लाइक सादा सीधा सादा आदमी का फिर
Swan and elephant both are positive people. Snake
एलिफेंट
and owl.
नहीं हाँ
सर मैं आपको एक चीज पूछूं,
हाँ
आपने विद्या देवी को देखा है? विद्या देवी सरस्वती,
हाँ
उसके साथ आपने शायद बहुत सारी यूनिवर्सिटी में देखा होगा सांप बना हुआ है. सांप बुरा है इसलिए लगाते हैं क्या? आप क्यों दिमाग में सोच रहे हैं सांप मतलब खड़ा? बिकॉज वी फियर देम, बिकॉज वी डोंट अंडरस्टैंड देम. बिकॉज वी डोंट अंडरस्टैंड देम, वी फियर देम.
So we talk about defense mechanism for the organization.
Of course. Why a snake needs to be a bad person? I'm talking about a person who is dynamic, who can see through things, right? And who have venom in his head, don't kill himself by the venom, but it can be used as a medicine as well.
Yeah.
तो आपका पर्सपेक्टिव में वो क्यों है ये खड़ा बंदा? जंगल में आप सांप को क्यों बोलते हो खड़ा? उसको भूख नहीं लगता है, वो खाएगा नहीं. अब अगर भगवान ने उसको ऐसे बनाया भाई पूरा ले लेता है ऐसा, तो वो क्या कर सकता है? अच्छा मुझे एक बात बताइए, लाइक आई डू मिक्स मार्शल आर्ट, ओके आई, आप नहीं करते तो आपके लिए मैं बुरा हूं, बिकॉज आई फाइट इन द एरिया. दैट आई डू फॉर माई बॉडी बिल्डिंग, कीपिंग माई सेल्फ एक्टिव एंड डायनामिक. आप कुछ करते होंगे, अभी अभी अपने बताए थे कुछ कैरम बोर्ड का आप कुछ कर रहे हैं. अगर मैं अभी आपको बोलूं कैरम बोर्ड खेलना है तो खड़ा होकर क्या करेंगे? This is a perspective, sir.
Okay.
In my opinion, everybody is good. The way we look at it, it depends on it.
So we say an organization should have this combination, right?
Always good and bad mix.
But when a startup, 1%, 2% sort of a model, when he goes for a funding, now he obviously will not have, even possibly it's the first time you are looking at how the animal kingdom can be used, both for the business purpose. Having said that, so we say that this is at a later stage of investor coming into the picture.
No, I'm talking about a perfect slide deck.
Okay.
Now it might happen that within your team you don't have 5 people, but you have qualities of these things in maybe 2 people, or maybe only 3 of them within 2 people. It works.
Very good.
Yeah. Now, how do you expect that 2 engineers will run a management business without having someone who is guiding them on management? Okay. Tomorrow, if I say I'm not a lawyer, yeah. Tomorrow, if I say I'll start a law firm, can I do that? I can. सर आइडिया है, हो सकता है.
हाँ.
मैं बोलूँगा AI बेस्ड लॉयर बनाऊंगा, कर सकता हूँ. ये सुनो, आप वैलिडेट मुझे कैसे करोगे? मैं AI का बंदा हूँ, I can code, fine. Tech guy, understand finance. Okay. Law कहाँ से है? Until unless I get someone who is a great lawyer. Make sense? मैं उसका बात बोलूँ. Right? Now again, you may ask me, अरे आप दोनों तो बहुत perfect match हो यार. This is lawyer, this is a tech guy. That's fine. Who is going to run the business then? So you need to have a business guy in the team itself. You may say we are raising fund. At this moment, we don't have that business guy, but I need help from you as an investor to help us to run the venture and get a business guy. That's the reason there is a segment in our probably Excel file asking for a chief business development officer, and there is a salary for it. Making sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Until unless you say that, how will I understand you need that?
Correct.
Am I making sense now?
Yes, sir. Correct.
अब बता दो मुझे क्या चाहिए. Then a person, a fund, or probably if I don't invest, then also I'll tell you why I'm not doing it. Okay, I'll tell you another interesting thing. In VC world, usually VCs, if they say no, they give a reason why it is no. आप जब सर बैंक के पास जाते हो, नो पूरा रीजन पूरा बता देता है.
जरूरत नहीं है.
नो हो गया ना, खत्म. या फिर ना भी नहीं बोलते हैं, आप लटका के रहे. Sir, I act as a consultant to Asian Development Bank. I know banking a little bit. Yeah. So banks and VC, their mindsets are different. The reason VCs are actually increasing, this is the solo reason. It's more of human touch, making money for all. खराब भी आएंगे, खराब भी है. हमारे पास CCD का भी स्टोरी है, बायजू का भी स्टोरी, इंडिया.
Arjit,
Yes.
I know this is a pitch deck where.
No, it's a business plan,
Yeah.
not a pitch deck.
Okay.
Pitch deck I'll teach later, maybe after the break.
In this business plan, I know we are giving a complete diversified team which will cover the organization in different aspects. It is very good. But just hypothetically, I am trying to fill the designation. Is Rhino the founder and CEO?
No, Rhino can be a CMO. Can be.
CMO. Full
Chief
form?
Marketing Officer.
Marketing
Chief
officer.
compliance customer.
Customer, whatever, doesn't matter.
Okay. Marketing officer.
Dealing
Swan.
directly with the people.
Okay. And Swan?
It's basically the knowledge guy. You can think of it as a CFO. You can think of it someone who is sitting as a board of advisor.
Okay.
A very knowledgeable person.
Okay. Tiger, obviously
The founder.
the founder and CEO because
Founder and CEO. Yeah.
creating the ecosystem. All?
There is no specific term, but in organization, usually the guys who are actually working on the operations. So you can call him or her as a COO.
COO or else some operations.
Chief Operating Officer.
Okay. And the snake?
No term. It can be anyone.
Elephant?
Elephant also can be an advisor.
Elephant is a team player.
Elephant is the guy who is actually helping others.
The snake can be
The
the
team
PRO
player.
or sort of.
Snake can be anyone actually. I'm
In
talking
fact,
about the characters. Don't put it as a, see, the main problem is in any business plan, you don't need to put these jargons like who is CEO, who is CTO. You just talk about your team. When you're creating a board, in the board resolution, let it happen by the choice of the board. Who is a CFO, who is a CTO. Don't वो धब्बा लगाने का नहीं. The company is
It looks very easy now. We बोलेंगे ये यार ये सांप का आदमी है, ये सांप का।
वो बात जनाब साहब से इतना प्यार क्यों करते?
The guy comes from a place called Puttaparthi, which is actually snake deep. Okay, I will not speak.
Okay, next thing is your product or your service. If I may understand you correctly, sir, what is your service or product? You're a CE, I know.
Yeah, but I am into real estate broking side.
Yeah, so is it like, how do you categorize yourself? What exactly is this?
More of an advisor.
More of an advisor or realtor or?
It includes, advisor includes realtor as such.
Okay.
But it's more like 360 degrees, including support on the legal. What the realtor typically does is already covered, but it covers a part of the support services, property management services, funding, and also.
Sir, 99 acres से आपका क्या gap क्या है?
मैं सर information लेता हूँ सर.
उनकी information लेता हूँ. तो मैं 99 acre में क्यों ना जाऊँ आपके पास क्यों आऊँ?
ये personalized है, बस. It's my geography बहुत छोटा area है, and I personalize service. If there's any problem, वहाँ
So
पे.
if I don't know you in person, I will never touch
Yes,
this.
so we are like looking at connectors and networking as a platform to refer business.
Okay.
ये भी एक platform उसी के लिए है.
Right.
So
तो मैं आपको पहचानूंगा कैसे?
it's a digital print जैसा अभी तो फिलहाल ज़्यादा
आपका
digital.
मुझे कीवर्ड बताइए, how do I search?
No, right now it is not done on me. Not done on me because
Presently by referral only.
My point is that
No.
Yes.
when you are talking about your product
Yes, sir.
and you say that this is by referral, it's a great way of achieving business in the initial time.
Yes, sir.
But what happens if I'm sitting probably some part in maybe, I take odd countries maybe in Finland. I want to purchase a property over here. How do I search it? How do I know it?
Yeah.
How do I find it? That's the question.
But he is not rendering services there as of now.
It's fine. I want to buy a property sitting in Finland. What shall I do? Initially I'll search in Google.
As a client, he can be anywhere, right? So that's.
As a client he can be
Anywhere.
anywhere. Yeah? अच्छा चलिए उतना दूर नहीं जाते फिनलैंड में, ठीक है? बहुत ठंडी जगह है, हम यहाँ पे चले आते हैं। असम से मैं मुझे अगर ढूंढना है, how do I find it?
नहीं नहीं, that's what 3 दिन आया हूँ सर ये सब। Actually, I'll go on very soon.
Wait for 3 days.
Yes, yes.
All
So the best possible option, if you are talking about service, is to make a uniqueness of your service. What is your uniqueness?
Mine is personal instruction. So that is the only thing I can say. You have to decide.
So he will provide.
Where am I?
No, I mean,
He will provide you without money.
They will.
Without investment.
Sorry,
He will provide without investment.
they will provide without investment.
He will give them money.
Sir, ये बहुत खतरनाक है. Without investment, if I am getting something, that means I am actually buying a liability. In your terms.
But maximum people like at least in that.
सर सीए वाला क्लास में और मेरे सामने मैं तो डर जाऊंगा, मैं ऐसे ही सीए नहीं हूँ, मुझे लायबिलिटी क्यों दे रहे?
वो तो सिखाना है.
So the point is, if you, any one of you, if you have a service as a model in today's world, until unless the uniqueness is there, is very hard.
So what should be uniqueness in this model?
So we can
As per
put some glass.
खत्म तो होने दीजिए, 3 घंटा है मेरे पास, पहले क्यों बता दे? आप मेरा खींच रहे हो, मैं नहीं खींचूंगा आपका, ऐसा हो सकता है? मैं टाइगर हूँ यार, मत करो।
नहीं तो इसमें नहीं है, कहीं पे मेरा नाम नहीं है।
देखते हैं है या नहीं। Okay, now regarding the product, let me be serious now. When you talk about product and service, why both of them are different, and what is the challenge? I'll first talk about challenge in India. If we are talking about product companies in India, we feel that probably it should be a tangible product. Let's see, listen. Yeah. अभी ये वाटर बॉटल है, कुछ लिखा हुआ है टाटा का प्रोडक्ट, कुछ कॉपर वगैरह कुछ लिखा हुआ है, टाटा कॉपर प्लस. And now we are talking about sustainability, blah blah blah. But we are drinking in a plastic bottle. Yes. All of a sudden, a startup came and he said that let's move this away. You want to drink water? Let's make it with jute bottle. Possible? Possible. That is startup who is making it happen. Yeah. Advantage? You don't drink water with plastic. When we drink with this, we get a little bit of tiny small molecules. Yeah? One. Second, this jute bottle you can reuse, and then if you throw it, it doesn't harm the sustainable product. And for that, there are grants. You know that? There are government policies. Plus, if there is a woman involved in this business, you get more advantage of subsidy. Yeah? Yeah. And if you are going through an incubator, probably big incubators like either IITs or IIMs or maybe T-Hub, whatever. If you are going through that, you get more advantage. Yeah. Now, how exactly an incubator will understand you are different? आपने तो idea बता दिया. Can you create that? We call this as a MVP. MVP, minimum viable product. You make that happen, you show it in front of the people, they will test it, justify it, and now you are talking about, like sir asked me a question, how a startup will actually make others understand. Now, these guys who are making this jute bottle, probably they don't have a business guy in their team, but this entire ecosystem is helping them to create that particular team when you are talking about product. Challenge in India is about non-tangible products. Probably a API, maybe a plugin, maybe a software. You talk about a disruptive software which can probably change the way you are calculating things. It can be a HR management software, doesn't matter. But when you are in front of people, making them understand your value proposition is really challenging. Now the best part is, it happens in Silicon Valley like this. Why? Mature investors are there. Here, we have mature investors who are coming from traditional background. Here, neither I can play a role nor you can play a role. We can only talk about these things and make people understand होता क्या है. और सच्ची बात बताऊं सर, मेरा खुद का रिकॉर्डिंग चल रहा है, आप लोग तो रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं कर रहे. ये सारा चीज नेगोशिएशन टेबल में होता है. आप कुछ भी करें. If somebody saying that, okay, इतना वैल्यूएशन का चलो ठीक है 25% देंगे, बात खत्म करके. आप लोग एग्री करो, कितना आप लोगों ने देखा है? I'm sure you have seen that. इंडिया का चैलेंज है. Now what is the best way? For your information, I'm sure that you have got thousands of clients. If one of your client is in this situation that they can't raise capital, which is probably a non-tangible product, and they need to justify that, there are global accelerators. You can write those names. Seed starts, SWT, STARs, IIDF, IIDF, Skolkovo Innovation Center. It's in Russia but works amazing. Yeah. These accelerators and incubators, they accept some crazy stuff which can change and disrupt probably the software world. Because these guys are backed by Microsoft, Intel, all these biggies. These guys are sitting in their board, checking all these things. And they have their internal team as well. So these ecosystems can help your clients to justify the model and probably raise the capital on that particular non-tangible product, even in service. Yeah, I have a slide which I'll be showing you, which will mix and match your financial asking things. Now this slide is one of my favorite. Okay, all the pictures that you are watching in this slide, I have shared this with Sir and others. These are all created by me utilizing AI. It's called Mid-Journey. If you are keen to understand how to write prompt engineering, it's very easy to understand. Okay. So marketing and sales strategy. When you're talking about this slide, my humble suggestion regarding marketing, let's not talk about big amount of money to pumping money only for creating your brand building. This is where maximum cases people lose. They talk a lot about branding instead of talking about marketing. I hope that I don't need to teach you what is branding and what is marketing. Yeah. Try to stick to marketing budget effectively. Try to optimize it as much as you can. Everybody understands this. It's a competitive world. Everybody understands these figures. So try to make it simple, slick, and smooth. Now, when you talk about sales strategy, maximum cases, I'm sure you have clients who are probably got some order, some PO, something. Yeah. If you have that, try to put that within this slide. It can be 2 slider. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm talking about business plan. I'm not talking about pitch deck. Pitch deck can be done not more than 10 slides. Business plan can be done 25. Chalega. Yeah, there is a big difference. In this slide, I love to have this. I means usually the investors. Who is your first customer? And how exactly from your first customer you have created multiple number of customers. Okay, real life example लेते हैं. I used to be a third bencher. I pick someone from the back bench. आप लोग पूरा खाली है, फिर भी पीछे बैठे हैं. I love you. So, sir with the white shirt, yes. What's your good name? You need a mic? Okay. Who is your first customer? I don't know. Name, company name, आप बताओ. कैसे मिला वो? by reference. If somebody referred that company to you,
Yes.
and till date they are your client.
Yes.
Small tips. If you have these kind of stories, put that in your book. In his case, maybe it's by referral. In probably 99% of our cases, it is by referral always. When we start our own business. Yeah. Always. Somebody referred, from somewhere you got that. Yeah. That's how it started. Now from that first customer, how you created, I don't know your number of consumers or customers, how you created maybe thousands of customers, make that as a storyline and try to put things, how you made money from your customers' investment. I call it as a customer investment. You know why? Even though if you raise capital, if you can please sit sir, even though if you raise capital, your valuation probably is now 500 CR, 10,000 CR, doesn't matter. If you are not making money, if you are not becoming profitable, how will you return back your money to the end investor who is coming much more later stage? You can't. So this structure is really important. It enables anyone to understand whether you are a stable business guy or you are just an hype. So do you understand hype? A better example, MBA chai wala. Big hype, now shut down. You heard about this brand? ठीक है? बहुत hype हो गया, बंद हो गया. Why? Couldn't retain their customer. Started taking money by promising fake promises. Now you understand why this slide is important. First customer and why this number and how you are retaining it. Yeah? It actually talks sense to any person to understand you. Sir, please understand, you are working with referral, but I don't know you. The way you will be behaving, my first impression will go with that. So I will have two different kinds of impression about you. A, you are probably talking which is in a very open way. So probably you are not a backstabber. If I'm mature, I will think of this. If I'm not mature, I will think, ये मेरा काम पीछे करता है, ये मेरा enemy है, ये सांप है, नहीं है, क्यों नहीं है? Because you are talking in front of me openly, which is fine. मन में कुछ नहीं रखते. मतलब ये नहीं है कि बाकी लोग रख रहे हैं, बाकी लोग listen कर रहे हैं, सुन रहे हैं, right? So, as a firm, as a body, how will I understand you if you don't show that in a piece of number of words, piece of numbers? Yeah, important, जरूरी है. Making sense?
Yes.
सर ये मैं बहुत ज़्यादा चिलम-चिली नहीं करूँगा. It's very easy. If the business is actually tapping the 10% of the market, it's a workable model. Now, how you can do that? You have a lot of other slides which you can probably justify yourself within all these kind of slides and numbers, and try to get real people feedback over there. Don't try to buy customer review. That also can be cross-checked. And please, for a private investor, I mean, we do a hell lot of due diligence. Even if you buy all those fake reviews by paying probably 1 rupees 50 paisa, we will understand. Okay. So don't do that. And don't put those things at least in the business plan section. Okay? And last line, शायद मैंने बता दिया था, full form of CEO. आज से क्या है?
Cash extraction officer.
It's amazing. As a CEO, you really need to understand how to extract cash. Yeah? मुझे सिखाना नहीं है, बस साइड में शो करना था. You guys are master in this pre-money valuation plus post-money valuation. You can do it better than me. But why this slide is in this class, this conference? This equal post-money valuation. We see a lot of fluctuation. A lot. What are the key factors where we actually get a question? I'll not teach you how to do a valuation. But where we get a question, Yeah? Why we will say no after you calculated with your all hard-earned knowledge, and then you put all those sleepless nights, you created documents, Excel sheets, formula, but then after that some VC or some fund will say, no boss, बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया. होता है? Why it happens? When a business usually creates a market, in today's world, at least in till 2025, we all need to understand India is probably one of the biggest markets. And when we see a presentation which is talking about global perspective, instead of probably your own geography, we get a question now. That means they can't grab their own market, or the market is not fit for India, or this product is probably meant for outsourcing, or this product is meant for exporting. If all those factors are saying no, then we get a question. Am I making sense? For an example, आपने कुछ गारमेंट बनाए जो शायद यहाँ के लिए है ही नहीं, right? Probably you are making something for winters, which is for -3 degrees temperature. Not for you. Makes sense. It is for export market. But then you are giving an example of a market which is probably not that cold. And you want to say that I'm going to sell that in that market. Will you get a question mark or not? ये क्यों होता है? गूगल बाबा की तरफ. Trust me, we have seen those kind of slide presentations wherein a person is talking about probably some product which is not at all relevant to that market. A normal baby can tell that. Okay, I'll give you a live example. Sera Heat, it's a company who produces a glass. It's an innovative product. It's a patentable technology. Now you replace these glasses with their glass. It will act as a air cooler, and it will actually optimize the better air quality inside. It will extract the carbon dioxide, put it in a small box, and then give oxygen. It will cool down the room temperature. You don't need to turn on AC. How about that? It's a Finnish technology run by a guy called Jorma and her wife Anita, right? One of our mentee companies, right? Now, these kind of technology, if I ask somebody to put in some market where AC is not needed, will you buy that idea? वही होता है. People take data from top 5 and then put it in the slide. वो मत कीजिए. Yeah?